Hello everyone, and welcome to my Duel Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Paulina Price moaned about her tasteless breakfast at the pub, which was a part of her restricted diet before to her radioactive iodine treatment, according to the spoilers for Tuesday, April 9's episode of Days of Our Lives. But in reality, Paulina was angry because she would have to spend a few days in seclusion following the event, and she couldn't bear the idea of spending so much time apart from Abe Carver. Chanel DiMera said she couldn't take time off work when Johnny DiMera surprised her with the key to the Horton cottage outside Sweet Bits. Johnny pretended to comprehend, but as Chanel spoke with her staff inside, she discovered he had persuaded them to stand in for her. Johnny took care of everything for their little honeymoon because they were in love with Chanel and received more compensation. Chanel had arranged to meet Johnny at the DiMera home after delivering some bear claws made with non-iodized salt to Paulina and receiving her okay for the trip. On Tuesday's episode of Days, Trip Johnson was pushing Wendy Shin to strike him while she was kickboxing at the park. Trip thought it would be an excellent method for Wendy to process all of her feelings and her PTSD, but Wendy was apprehensive. Trip brushed it off and raced Wendy home while jogging after Wendy got a little carried away and gave him a strong hit. Ava Vitale, in the meantime, told Clyde Weston over the phone that she was done following his instructions. Clyde threatened to reveal her role in the bistro's illicit operations, but Ava pretended that it was only Clyde speaking up against Stefan DiMera. Clyde caught Ava's attention since he assumed she wouldn't want Harris Michaels to discover the precise method of his escape. For Clyde to acquire the little black book that Gil Carter left behind, all Ava had to do was return to the bistro. Clyde could only reach all of his suppliers and merchants via this one trail. Clyde swore to pack up and move his operations if Ava got it for him. He responded, absolutely, beaming at her for caving in after Ava threatened that this would be the last thing she ever did for Clyde. On Tuesday's episode of Days, Trip and Wendy confronted Ava about the news of Stefan's arrest that was making the rounds online. Ava pretended not to know why Stefan had turned himself in and maintained she was enjoying her new beginning. Ava informed Wendy and Trip that she was leaving the bistro and that she would be moving on to a new residence. Ava thought it was time to move out, despite Trip and Wendy's insistence that she didn't have to. Later, when they were back at the hospital, Trip asked Paulina if she was pregnant because he had a question he had to ask all of his female patients. That made Paulina laugh a lot, and she made it very apparent that wasn't going to happen. Trip also mentioned that Paulina would be receiving radioactive iodine treatment in a special room and would need to take a tablet. Abe finally sent Paulina a farewell kiss before putting her in isolation, allowing her to say goodbye. Holly Jonas attempted to give E.J. DiMera the cold shoulder at the DiMera home, but he pretended that her punishment was necessary in order to help her learn a lesson. Holly chastised E.J. for lying and making mistakes of his own. Holly hurled a lot of blame at her stepdad and stormed off after E.J. arrested Tate Black and pursued him so intensely. Johnny offered Holly a pep talk when he noticed her pouting because she was being kept apart from Tate. After that, Johnny wrapped up his travel preparations with Chanel and kissed her in front of Rachel Black and Holly. Rachel, who didn't like boys, started choking at that. She informed Holly she would never getting married, and they had a great conversation about some of her favorite things. Holly was pleased to do mani pedis with Rachel, since she too wanted to paint their nails like they used to. After reading about Stefan's incarceration in The Spectator, Kristen DiMera approached EJ in the town square during Tuesday's DOL broadcast. Kristen became even more enraged after venting about her brothers not keeping her in the loop and worried about the company. After acting as though Kristen needed to get a grip, EJ ultimately left, giving him an opportunity to ask Johnny about developments from his honeymoon. Chanel and Johnny arrived at the cabin and, in an attempt to warm up even more quickly, snuggled in by the fire. On Tuesday's episode of Days, back at the DiMera home, Kristen saw Holly with Rachel and sent her upstairs right away. Kristen brought up the drugs and pretended that Holly was a terrible influence after she informed Rachel that she didn't want Holly around her anymore. After Kristen stormed out, Holly expressed her gratitude to EJ for standing up for her when she saw Kristen getting angry at her. We'll bring you more predictions on all the animosity at home as spoilers from Days of Our Lives indicate that Kristen will soon start another round of arguments in the DiMera household. Spoilers for Wednesday, April 10's episode of Days of Our Lives indicate that Eric Brady will put Sloane Peterson Brady in a difficult situation when he confronts her about the late rent payment. Sloane will have to scramble to explain, and she'll probably come up with an explanation that she thinks Eric would accept. Eric won't want Sloane to tell him about all the money Leo Stark is receiving in order to keep him quiet about the whole stolen baby situation. Unfortunately, Eric's curiosity and concerns will be piqued too much by this, and Sloane will have additional difficulties when he examines their finances more closely. Let's chat about Xander Cook and the task that is at the top of his list while we wait. Xander will have support from Sarah Horton as he pursues his goal of identifying the person who set him up for termination at Harris Michaels. Watch this space for updates on Xander and Sarah's quest to learn the whole truth, as it may eventually lead them to conclude that Stefan DiMera is at fault. According to teasers for other days, Bobby Stein, also known as Everett Lynch, will seek help from Marlena Evans. As a result, it's possible that he will confess to smirking to himself during their most recent hypnosis session. Maybe Everett will insist on going through with more hypnotherapy in order to try and make sense of what he witnessed. More disaster is imminent. DOOL lovers, as Everett's hypnosis sessions are about to drive him insane. Days teasers state that Jada Hunter will question Stephanie Johnson about her genuine feelings for Everett and inquire as to where she stands. Jada will complain about Bobby not signing the divorce papers no matter what Stephanie says about it, and she might even pressure Stephanie to change her mind. Days teasers state that Nicole DiMera will be incensed at the DiMera mansion when she discovers that Kristen DiMera has forbidden Holly Jonas from speaking to Rachel Black. Nicole will become enraged upon hearing that information, and she will accuse Kristen of being disrespectful to Holly and even engage in physical combat with her. According to teasers, EJ DiMera will have to break up Kristen and Nicole's fight on Days of Our Lives. Stay tuned for more predictions on all the drama that is sure to unfold. Thanks for watching if you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.